Check it out.
The Lou Information Station presents Co-Found Hers, your inside line to the need to know, the who to know, and the how the hell do we do it all. Now, here are your hosts, Lisa Lidvag and Angela Sandler.
Hey, St. Louis.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, my dance was a little funky. Like I didn't.
Well, I think we went late.
Yeah, we went.
We were off.
Was
beat.
a little off. Yeah.
Yeah, off beat. Yeah.
It's kind of that day.
It is that day. Oh my gosh.
So Halloween tomorrow.
Yeah.
Closet change outs.
Oh, daylight
weather,
savings time.
Daylight savings. I won't lie. I might be the only person in America that actually enjoys daylight savings.
Because I forget. Do we get an extra hour or we lose an hour?
We get an extra hour, but it gets darker earlier.
Okay.
And I don't mind
I want the hour of sleep.
I don't mind that. I like the hour of sleep.
Yeah.
I like the darker. I mean, I'm okay with it being darker earlier. It makes me not feel guilty about being lazy at night. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but
I do like it when it's brighter in the morning.
I love it when it's brighter in the morning.
Yeah. I woke up this morning and it was like so dark.
So
it was like middle of the night. I know. I don't like it.
And when your dogs are looking at you like, really? You're getting up?
Oh,
You're
mine were on top of me. When are we going to eat? When are we going to eat?
Wake up! So what do you have planned for Halloween?
Nothing really. I mean, my
Okay.
daughter has 3 Halloween parties to go to
Sweet.
with a special outfit for each
I was going to
one
say
of
it's
them.
3 different costumes, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Hey,
It's
welcome
been
to teenagers.
It's been a production. I'll tell you that. But Grant's got a Halloween party to go to tomorrow night. So
Nice.
we're going to go like have a couple drinks before that and then
Nice.
let the teenagers have their fun.
Yeah, I think that's, you know what, it's the natural progression. We start bowing out a little bit as they're teenagers, which is lovely.
Yeah.
And I'm at the point now where we literally hang at home and eat chili and hand out candy until about 8:00, and then we shut our lights off.
Yeah.
We are that family. We're like, sorry, we're done.
Bye.
Bye. Do not knock on the door. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. So I'm kind of I'm ready for the weekend. That is for sure.
I'm kind of sad though with the kids getting older that we don't get the candy anymore. Like that is one thing I'm a little sad about. Like I mean I do. There's certain things that once a year I'll allow myself to have. Like I would never walk into a store and pick up like a Butterfinger.
Yeah.
Like I would never do that.
A pound of Hershey's Kisses.
But if it's sitting at my kitchen table, I might snag one. I know. It's sad. There's going to be no, there will be splurging for sure. It just won't be. Yeah.
It's a different kind of splurge.
Yeah.
And, and so, okay, weather change. Have you changed out your wardrobe yet?
I did it a couple weeks ago.
Change?
Yeah, I did it a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I got up this morning. My husband's going to kill me. I have a pile of clothing that has to be put away and and then I need to go through it and go, okay, I'm going to wear this year or not. I'm giving it away. It's insanity. And I know this is like first world problems. So I'm sorry. Excuse me for my ridiculousness, but I had nothing to wear this morning. I woke up and I was like, ugh.
No, I feel you. I feel the same way. I got rid of a bunch of stuff and I need to actually go to a mall and actually see it.
Oh my gosh.
And touch it.
You go to malls?
I mean, I really don't want to, but I mean,
it's kind of a necessary.
It's kind of what you have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you know our next guest.
I know.
Who I'm super, super excited because I really don't know anything about our guest.
Oh.
So she's kind of a mystery to me. So I'm really excited to unpack this story.
A mystery, yes,
she's
for
a
Halloween.
Mystery guest for Halloween. But she lives in the fashion world.
She does.
And that speaks to my heart.
Well,
I love that.
She not only lives in the fashion world, she lives in the design world as well. And I would say that our guest today has been the most serial entrepreneur I've ever met. And she's just always coming up with new things. And she's so successful at all of them. And I am just so excited to have Retta Tussey here today. Yay!
Good morning.
Retta is an amazing eye for design. And I can't wait for her to bring us through her journey of how she got started. I know that I know a couple little backstories that I'm excited to go forward a little bit further with. But I'm so excited that she's here.
Yay.
And it's really cool that living in St. Louis, that we do have a fashion community.
Yeah,
We
And-
really do.
Yes.
And I think people forget St. Louis at the turn of the century. I mean, I hate to go back that far, but we were one of the largest in the country. We were just beside New York. I mean, but we had a huge fashion production helm here in St. Louis, especially in terms of shoes. Junior wear was started here in St. Louis. I mean, there's a lot of
Ooh.
history in this
Yeah.
town.
I didn't know
Juniors
juniors
was
was
started here.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really cool.
Well, so for those of you that don't know, Retta owns or has started a line. I don't even know what's the proper way to kind of
Why don't
frame
you
this?
introduce
Yeah,
your
okay.
companies?
Yes, yes.
Companies.
Plural.
Yeah.
So I own a clothing brand called Retta Jane.
Uh-huh.
And so that's my name, my mother's name, and my grandmother's name. So it felt
Aw.
very applicable.
I love that.
You know,
Yeah.
that I carried on. So we launched it specifically for tween girls.
Uh-huh.
So it's that really horrible, awkward age where you're not wearing glitter and unicorns anymore, but you're not quite ready for the teenage, the tight, the cutout,
Right,
the
right.
overly mature. And so the genesis of this was actually, I have a stepdaughter who's now 18, but at the time I was trying to find something for, she must have been 11 or so.
Mhm.
And I was trying to find something for her that was appropriate for a church, a church ceremony.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
And I couldn't find anything. And I went out for the day and I came back completely defeated, in tears, going, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would have spent any amount of money by that point too, PS, but I couldn't find anything that was appropriate,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
that again wasn't either too juvenile or too mature.
Yeah.
So it started this conversation in our household where surely I'm missing something. And over the years, then my husband just looked at me and goes, well, if like, you clearly have identified a market,
Right.
why don't you go try and fill it yourself? And so
Love
that was
that.
the start of it.
Love
Yes.
that. Love that.
I love that.
And the clothes are so beautiful. Like I go on your site, I'm like, oh, this is just, really chef's kiss. Beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
beautifully done. It's tailored. And it's something that I feel like that age group really, they're kind of overlooked. They get a lot of fast fashion.
Yes.
They don't
Lots.
get the real experience of having clothing that actually fits you appropriately
Mhm.
and is made for your age. And so I could
and
such
isn't
a
polyester
yeah,
and
yeah.
Well,
a fabric that's going to
fabric.
melt if you
Right.
get too close to the
Right.
fireplace.
And I'll
Right.
tell you, the irony is, I think this is the age where they actually really need it the most.
100%.
Because they're going through such a transition. I mean, think back to those. We always say our sizes are 8 to 16.
Yeah.
So our sweet spot is kind of that 7 to 13 age
Mhm.
range.
Mhm.
But think about it. Your hormones are changing, friends are changing, everything is new and
Right.
awkward.
Mhm.
And I think the girls need clothes that, I mean, it's like a woman putting on a power suit.
Right.
Right. Like you feel your best when you walk out like, oh, got that jacket. I know I look good.
Right.
I think girls need those
I agree.
outfits where they can put it on and man, they sit up a little bit taller. They feel confident.
Mhm.
They're not pulling and tugging because it doesn't fit or it's too tight.
Right.
Mhm.
And
Right.
and to your point, I think that is overlooked.
Yeah. It's and I have boys. I don't have girls. So let's just level set this. I don't really have personal experience with girls other than watching them show up to events in clothing that's just unfortunate.
Yes.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
it's definitely, I know that, we're so fortunate to have choices, but, sometimes I think at that age, your mom also isn't going to give you the best advice because mom knows nothing when you're 13.
Oh, of course
Right.
not.
Especially about fashion.
Well, and I laughed. There was such an emotional component to this as well. Because when we were coming up with this idea and we were doing a lot of market research, I spoke to a lot of girls, but then I spoke to a lot of mothers, and they would laugh. They said, it was Susie's first dance. I was so excited. We've been planning this. We took a Saturday. We went and had lunch, and then we went and shopping. She goes, both of us came home pissed off and in tears.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And she said, we couldn't agree on anything. The things she would like, I would hate, etc. And she said, again, it wasn't about the money. It was truly about finding something that both of us could come to terms on.
Right.
Both of us thought was fashion forward and appropriate, and there was nothing.
Right.
Right. Right.
How hard was it to start a fashion line? Have you done this before? Like, let's back up. Let's talk about you for a second. What is your background? What education, all the stuff?
So interior architecture.
Oh,
So
okay.
applicable skills in the sense that it's creative, but very, very, very different genre of design. The irony is I wanted to study fashion. I have a wonderful, brilliant father who's also very pragmatic and he's a chemist.
You
and
can't make any money in fashion.
You got it. He's a chemist and he has his MBA and he goes, I think a good liberal art school would be the right choice. And so I followed my brother off to college. He was a couple years ahead of me and I was clueless.
Yeah.
The school happened to have an interior architecture department. I landed there, but I also got my foot in the door in New York and I started interning during college in fashion. Oh, so it was this wonderful marriage of both things that I loved. And then I was like, this is great. This is my future. Yeah. And the very short story is I had some phenomenal internships and I graduated right at 9/11. So I landed, all of my best laid plans were thrown out the window. I landed back in St. Louis in January of 2002 and floundered for a while and ended up going into interiors, which is what I studied. And quite frankly, built a great career here.
Yeah. So doing interior design
or
actual architecture? Okay.
Interior design. I mean, we tracked with the architecture students in the sense that we did like, structures and some of these other things. And then we'd go into specifically interiors for our track. But so I did residential interiors here. I had some phenomenal clients. I won awards. I mean, it was just on paper, it was really, really great. But between us and all of our viewers, I was completely burnt out. Yeah. So, and P.S. life happens. I was married, then I got divorced. And I mean, all these things happened. So this would have been about 2017. I was now married to my new husband. I had stepchildren. And then I became pregnant with our first little guy. And so this culmination of all these things happened. And finally, I'm like, I throw my hands up. I need to take a break. Yeah. I desperately need to take a break. So in 2018, I stepped back from interiors. And then that was also the start of, because I can't start for Retta Jane, and how I started to put all these pieces together on that end.
It's so interesting. I want to go back to your internships and talk a little bit about that, but it's so interesting that the universe really does put you where you're supposed to be. It really, we talk at every single female that comes in here and talks to us, we say the same thing. It's amazing to me how if you just listen and listen and trust yourself to take that break. Yeah. I mean, so many of us won't do it because we're like, no, I have to keep going because it's what's expected. And it's like, no, trust what your inside is telling you. It's time. Like, it's okay to take that time and go, I'm good now. I need to move on to the next thing. Yeah. It's very difficult.
It's very difficult. And I also think it's interesting when you get to a certain age and you start looking back going, oh, I had that gut feeling that I did not listen to. Yes. And I mean, I always joke that my life is like a Waze app. And I like the destination's the same, but I'm just continually rerouting. Yeah. Rerouting. Yeah. But to your point, I think the more I slow down and listen, I'm like, oh, like a door opens. Right. Yeah. Or a door shuts, and then guess what? A window cracks. And then, I mean, if you really slow down and tune in, yes, it is phenomenal how much that happens.
Yes, it really is. And I know, again, first world, we're very luxury here in the United States. We have the luxury of making those decisions in most cases. We can decide we don't like a job and we move on to the next. Let's kind of go back to your internships. You said you had phenomenal I'm super curious. Where did you intern?
I had an internship at Betsy Johnson. That was my first internship.
Oh my gosh.
And I always joke that it was, I mean, it could almost be the highlight of my career because it was the highlight of, it was right when she was peaking.
Oh my gosh.
It was 1999 and she was getting, if anybody remembers, VH1 and Vogue would do a big fashion award show. Yeah. She was getting designer, I think it was the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
Wow. So I walked in, this was right after Memorial Day weekend, 1999. I'd never been to New York. I mean, all of this was new. And I walk in, she had interns bedazzling, like hot pants for her fashion show for VH1. And I was like, I've arrived. Yeah. This is the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Well, for those of you who don't know who Betsy Johnson is, she is an iconic fashion designer who really kind of she pushes the envelope on fashion, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
And she really kind of epitomized the 90s in every aspect, from
Yeah.
color to, you know, the bedazzling. Like, she was the one. She invented cherries. She was the original cherry girl. Like, there are things that Betsy Johnson did in fashion that no one else would touch because they were so scared of it.
Well,
But
you
she
had
just
to have
did
a
it.
baby doll, Betsy
Yes.
Johnson dress.
Right?
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
The baby
That
dolls.
was like,
exactly.
that was a badge of honor. If you got
Yeah.
one of those,
Right.
you were
100%.
totally in style.
And those of you of a certain age will remember that baby doll and the big platform.
Yes,
the
platform shoes.
She did it.
I mean, her showroom when you walked in was black and white and hot pink and like neon, Betsy Johnson and neon lights. I mean, it really was.
She was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's.
Well, and to your point of listening to your gut, I had no fashion experience.
Right.
I mean, to me, I was a kid from Missouri who had never been to New York. I wasn't studying fashion. That seems so far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a guy at school that I'd befriended, and he had a really neat internship the summer before. And we were talking, he goes, well, what do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, he always jokes. He's like, you were really glassy, dreamy eyed.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to work in fashion. And so he looked at me and goes, so get it, like, do it. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, get an internship.
Yeah.
And again, those of a certain age, this was the fall of 98. The internet barely existed.
Right.
I mean, the idea of getting I couldn't just Google something and find an internship.
Right. You had to knock on doors and call people.
Handwritten letters.
You had to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I think this poor woman, I probably just stalked her and pushed her enough that she's like, I caved, take the internship. But it was a lesson in persistence. And getting that first job and getting my foot in the door and selling myself. Like, hey, it may not be fashion, but this is what I can do and what I'm willing to do. And P.S. it wasn't a paid job. So I think that helped too. But still, like, it opened the door to me in terms of what was possible. Like, you can make things happen even if they seem completely far off.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and what an experience, because that, you know, again, Betsy Johnson completely pushes the envelope on everything fashion. So you're kind of on that pendulum all the way to one side of fashion. How did you kind of pull back into your style, and how would you state your style?
I mean,
and your aesthetic.
The word to me, I think, is overused, but it is very timeless. But I say that because my mother and my grandmother, the other Retta Janes, they were in the fashion world. Like, they both modeled, they did all sorts of things, but they saved their wardrobe. Yeah. And I would say about 30% of my closet, talk about closet switchovers. Yeah. My closet always stays the same, but about 30% of it was theirs. And so
really special.
I look to these pieces that I wear to this day. I mean, there's a cape that's now become one of our best sellers. It was my grandmother's. I believe it's from the 40s, the original one. It's this gorgeous camel wool. It is still as fashion forward today as it was then. It has held up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I looked at those pieces as my North Star. So awesome. That really was, you know, what are these items that I still idolize that have lasted for decades? Right. How can we put that into a girl's wardrobe? And the really amazing thing is when you do that, then a girl can style it her own way. Right. You know, you have this dress that on paper may seem really simple, but it's crafted well, it fits well. And if she is more of the feminine princess girly type, she can make it skew that way. Right. I've had other girls put combat boots on. I was just going to say they can throw their docs on with it. It works. Right. Yes. Yeah. And I think when you kind of go through that lens of classic timeless, it doesn't mean it's boring, but it does. You can put your own spin on it. Yeah. I love it. It's kind of going back to, and now I'm dating myself. You guys are a little bit younger than me, but when you had paper dolls and you would literally mix and match the outfits. And that's kind of that was my introduction to fashion and kind of understanding can I put patterns together? Oh, I can. Look, it looks really good on this paper doll. Yeah. Well, so I love that you just said that, Lisa, because we actually made paper doll stickers when we first launched with some of our pieces. So that hits my heart. Love that. Love that. Love that. That's so awesome. Okay. So internships. What was next after the internships? You came back to St. Louis after 9/11. Came back after 9/11. Honest to God, I floundered for a while. Yeah. I met my now ex-husband. He's a great guy. We just did not mix. Right. But he's an artist as well. And I had been freelancing and illustrating, and he had the great idea. He's like, you should just like make some stationery and sell that. And so I
Love
did.
that.
I mean, this is like a blip in my past, but I started a stationery company. And that gave me, we traveled to New York. We did all the shows. We were sold in great places like Paper Source and Kate's Papery. And so we were kind of checking all the boxes, but that gave me a view into the world of selling and wholesale and retail. So we did that until the market crashed in 2008. And I was like, oh, I saw the writing on the wall.
Another sign from the universe.
Another sign.
Yeah.
And I was green and young and really did not know what I was doing. Like my margins weren't great. I mean, the things I look back at now, I'm like, ooh, that wasn't good on paper, but no. So then I really leaned into interiors after that point.
Can we stop for 1 second about the stationery? Because I do know a story about this, and I've been so impressed by it ever since I've known it, is that you knew right away of how to get press and publicity.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that, what you did with the stationery?
Yeah, it was like a game I played. And for those listening, keep in mind, I was in my 20s. My husband and I had about 4 cents to rub together. So there was no big PR firm or anything we were hiring. And I had this little attic studio, and I was like, oh, well, we just need to get our stuff in magazines. And this was early 2000s. Magazines were still really hot. And so I would buy magazines. I would look up who the style editor was, or there was another term for it at the time. So he was either style editor or something else. And I knew that they were the ones that pushed product and placed it. So I just started sending them things and writing them letters and sending them emails as if this was normal. I assumed it was. And that was my game. And I was like, how many people can I reach out to this week? Okay, I'll hit them up again. And eventually, my dad was so cute. He's like, eventually they're going to need press. Like they're going to need something. So you'll be top of mind.
Right.
So I just assumed that's how you did it. And man, it worked. We were in Southern Living. We were in Domino. We were finalists for Oprah's Favorite Things at one point.
That's awesome.
We've been pulled. But it was all me in my attic, like just putting these things out there.
Just hustling it.
And
I think that's something that's lost. And I'll just remind our listeners, Retta had unpaid internships. Where did those go? Everybody expects a paid internship now.
So true.
Do you remember back in the day, you were not able to intern for a paid? Ryan, you intern?
Actually, the crazy thing is I interned here before 590 went back, and it was unpaid.
It was.
Yeah. The thing is about me is
Ryan.
I didn't really care about the pay. I just wanted to get into the space.
Yes.
For sure.
Right.
And
well,
I'm
and
glad I did it.
You're wise. You are a wise person. Because I feel like that's what you need to do, right?
Actually, I think both of my internships were unpaid.
Were they?
Because I got a lot of hands-on experience, and I wasn't really thinking about the money. I was like,
yes,
love that.
Yeah. It's because you understand it on a different level. And I think that when you're hungry like that, my gosh, I don't have 2 pennies to put together, but I can still start a company.
Yeah.
Right.
And by the way,
still do it.
And then the work ethic that drives you, because not only was I interning during the day, but then I was working at night.
Right,
I was a hostess at a restaurant in New York.
Right.
Met 1,000 people through that too. But it was just a constant hustle, but I loved it. I loved it. It didn't feel like work.
It
was amazing.
Yeah. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to feel like work. I think that that's the beauty of it, is that, we come from a time when we were told you just work to earn a check and make things happen. So to have that mindset of, I'm going to wake up and be happy with what I do is kind of forward thinking for our generation, I think. And unfortunately, I'm finding that the younger generations are expecting more, and not working as hard for it, other than our friend Ryan over here, who clearly, but look, I'm listening to my son who's in his first year at college, and he's asking all the right questions, but we're trying to remind him, like, nothing comes right away. Like, you have to really work hard for it. Like, none of what you see in your purview is normal for somebody just coming out of college. Like, you have to work hard. You have to not get paid. You have to have 75 roommates. You have to eat potatoes every night for dinner.
Yes.
I mean, there's like a lot of payment for that
Yeah.
experience.
But you also learn so many lessons doing that too. I think that then help
Correct.
you down the road as well, is that if you don't have the struggle, there's no internal
drive.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Right.
We always say it's like if you're getting the brand new car when you turn 16, and I'm sorry for any of you that did, what more is there to want? What is there to work for?
Right.
Like, I got and we called it a hoopty back in my day, but I had to like jumpstart it every other day. And, there's like part of that struggle is what kind of makes your fabric strong. Back to fashion. Back to fashion.
But a segue.
Yeah. Unintended.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and Retta is going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about female entrepreneurship, running a household, doing all the things, and kind of how she does it. What's important to her, and what are her staple items that she needs. So we'll be back, friends.
Angela Sandler on the Lou Information Station, streaming 24/7 at louinfo.com.
Well, hello, and we're back. We're going to talk more with Retta, but I have a couple of little housekeeping. Don't forget what he just said, Lou Info Station, louinfo.com. You also can find our podcast later today, hopefully around 1-ish, on all of your usual suspects, Apple, Spotify, all the things. We also have a YouTube channel under louinfo.com. And if you really want to meet Angela and I and talk to us, find us on Instagram at CoFoundHers. For those of you who are listening live, yes, Mom, that's you, 314-590-3770 is our text line. Text us questions, text Retta questions, but don't text them after our show. All right, back to the show. Let's talk more with Retta. We were just talking about influencers on the break and kind of the role that influencers have in business. So being somebody that's in fashion, let's talk about your marketing a little bit and what you do to market. Do you use influencers? What do you do?
I will tell you, it is probably going to be our saving grace, and the thing that gives me the most gray hairs is this niche market that we're in.
Yeah.
It's tween girls.
Yeah.
So let's just step back and look at that group as a whole. Their bodies are changing constantly. Their opinions are changing constantly.
100%.
They really rely on what their friends and peers are wearing or doing. So there's already a lot of barriers to crack into them.
Yeah.
But even more, most of them, hopefully, that are in our target age range aren't on social media, or if they are, it's like the Taylor, they know the bigger names.
Right.
So then it's a double conversion. You've got to convert the mother and you've got to convert the daughter.
Yes.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yes.
It's a really, really, really tough market, which is part of the reason that there was a gap in it, quite frankly, because the more research we did, we realized, people just don't want to put the money into it.
Right.
Because it's a really tough one to crack.
Yeah.
The beauty of it is also that niche will probably, if we have the persistence, if we crack it, when we crack it, we'll be successful.
They
in
become
it.
really loyal.
They become very loyal.
Yeah.
So, we've taken a couple of different approaches. At first, we started to go the wholesale route.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, are you in stores? No?
So we started to go the wholesale route. In fact, we even showed overseas because we kind of have a European sensibility.
Right.
And we had great responses from press and just kind of bigger responses in general, like, oh, this is needed, the quality, et cetera, et cetera. But we weren't getting orders. And what we learned is it's like a chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
You've got to prove, especially for overseas, you've got to prove your longevity, that you can produce season after season after season, that you have all of your, the trade and all of those channels clearly identified. So when we landed in New York, we went and spoke with a showroom that represented a lot of the luxury brands like Chloe and Marc Jacobs.
Right.
Yeah.
And he looked at our product and goes, look, it's great. I could sell this all day long, but your name is not Chloe.
Yeah.
It's Retta Jane. He goes, here's the truth. People don't know who you are yet. He said, you got to do boots on the ground.
Yeah.
He said, if I were you, I would stop going the wholesale route and just boots on the ground and trunk shows and start meeting your people where they are, which was great advice. Again, this is not my background. I'm learning as I go.
Right.
So we did, and we pivoted immediately. So we started doing trunk shows, and we know our markets really well. A lot of southern cities are ours.
Yes.
So we'll do, we'll pop up in Houston and Charleston and these places. And once we do that, it's a very easy conversation because the girls can put on the clothes and you can have those talks. Aside from that, it's hard to do an influencer.
Yeah.
Again, because it doesn't make sense for our group.
Right.
Right.
That makes sense.
So we actually will do some old school newspaper bulletins that we put out, so we can try and get in front of girls in a tangible way.
Right.
We're opening a store next year, knock on wood. We haven't quite signed the lease yet, but
That's
I can kind of tease that. I think that'll change the game a little bit to have people being able to actually try on. So it's all of this to say it's hit and miss.
Yeah.
We're learning as we go, but slowly but surely we're watching that needle move.
Yeah.
And talk about instant gratification. We've learned that. It's not the case for starting a business.
It takes time.
Takes time.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you look at some of these big brands that are appealing to teens, that's a great example of they've honed in on their look. They know exactly who they're selling to. And it sells out all the time. Like I'm always seeing like, oh, we're sold out on all these sweaters, but it's understanding who your market is and really being specific to them.
Yes.
And appealing to them, and stop trying to be everything to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, too, we've popped up in Tween stores.
Mhm.
We do not do well when we pop up in Tween stores.
Interesting.
And why is because we're not trendy.
Right.
We
Right.
are very classic.
Right.
So when you put one of our dresses up against something that's tight and cropped and smocked and all the
Yeah.
things, I mean, I get it. They're going to go to that.
Yeah.
But what we've also realized is we're never going to get them out of Lululemon.
Right.
Right.
We're never going to get them out of this athleisure.
Right.
But there are times and places that you need to have, like, you cannot go to dinner with your grandmother
Right.
wearing a crop top.
Right.
Well, at least I don't think you should.
Right. Right.
Or your piano recital,
Right.
or family pictures,
Correct.
et cetera, et cetera. There are events
Yes.
that you need a special
Right.
look.
Right.
Mhm.
And so that's what we're delivering.
Right.
And so again, we might not be all things for all people, all
Right.
occasions, but when you need it, we're going to
You
be there.
understand
love
your
that.
market. And I
Yes.
think that that's what makes you successful. It's understanding. It's any business. Let's face it, like any business, if you can be really specific about what you're delivering and your message, it is really kind of up to you then, because people will listen, they will see it, they will hear it, but you just have to be specific.
Well, what's
Mhm.
exciting too is we've heard a lot from the mothers and the
Mhm.
grandmothers, quite frankly, that have been purchasing this for the girls, and their comments are, "Well, wait, I want that.
Yes.
I'll wear that."
Right.
So
Yes.
we're
Yes.
listening.
Yes.
So we're going to do a women's wear capsule next year and test that, which
Love that.
which is
That's
exciting.
awesome.
And I also think that will help drive from a marketing perspective.
Yes.
That will help drive the conversation. It's really easy to convert
Yes.
Yes.
a 40-year-old woman who likes something. I mean,
Yeah,
she can just
sure.
buy it,
Yeah.
as opposed to getting it for her 8-year-old daughter who may not be there with her, and she
Right.
doesn't know if it'll fit and all the things.
Right.
So again, that will hopefully drive the brand a little
Yeah.
bit more, and then
Mhm.
expand the conversation.
I love that.
Love it.
Can you talk a little bit about your catalogs?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So and I'll share again, marketing. We started with a catalog, like old
Love.
school.
Love, love, love.
Oh, it was a blast to produce.
Mhm.
It's probably my favorite thing we've ever done. And it did well in the sense that we did get orders from it, not a ton, but we got some.
Right.
But it brought our message out.
Yeah.
And so we crafted this world. It was almost like an ode to Eloise, if anybody remembers the old book Eloise.
Of course.
So we took a bunch of girls in a hotel, and what if they stayed there overnight, and what is their schedule, and they went to the movies, and all in Retta Jane. So Retta Jane could be applicable for all these things.
Love that.
We learned quick that you can't just hit them once. You've got to hit them with catalog after catalog after catalog. So we
Right.
weren't quite there
Yeah.
yet. So we've
Yeah.
pivoted, and now we're calling it our bulletin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a newspaper that we send out. The goal is to do it quarterly. We've got a new one coming out in the next couple of weeks, so you guys can look for it on our
Love.
website.
Love.
Awesome.
But we're just trying to, again, create a conversation
Yeah.
beyond clothes.
Yeah.
We've got amazing contributors from all over the country, some bigger designers and some mother-daughter duos.
Love
and
that.
it's really fun.
That is
So
awesome.
again, how do you bring this idea of clothing to a bigger
Right.
talk, a bigger
Yeah.
conversation?
Yeah.
Right.
I love
Right.
that.
It's so cool. And sorry, I didn't
No,
mean
no,
to
go
cut you
ahead.
off. I was going to say part of it too that I want to talk about is the part that you play in that.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's your name,
Right.
and the design, but you've done this all from the beginning. And I know you have some help, but I mean, how do you manage
I
all
know.
that?
I was just going to ask. I was going to ask about, do you have a team? So
Yeah.
we're thinking on the same line here. Like,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the structure of Retta Jane and how you kind of do it all.
Well, and maybe this is going to make me sound even crazier to your audience, but let's add one more element. So
Yes.
I had shut down the interiors back in 2017, 2018. I reopened the business last year.
Oh my
Yep.
Lord.
I had somebody that was interested, and could I take on a client or two? And I was like, well, maybe. And within 6 months, I was at capacity,
Mhm.
and I had I had an identity crisis in December of last year. I'm like, what do I do?
Mhm.
I was doing clothing. Wait, why am I doing interiors now? So I decided I either needed to shut it down or scale.
Right.
So we scaled. So now we've got a team we've got the interior arm back open and running,
Yay.
and it's
Mhm.
doing really well.
Amazing.
So residential interiors, and we've got a team on that side.
Uh-huh.
On payroll, it's moving like clockwork. And then on the clothing side, we have a lot of contract workers, and then I've got one person on the team on payroll who oversees both brands, and she's kind of our
Nice.
brand manager.
Right.
That's
at
awesome.
large, which is great.
That's awesome. Okay. So then you're sitting as CEO over both companies.
Yeah. So and it's all under the Retta Jane umbrella now.
Got it.
So
Got
there's
it.
the clothing brand and then there's the interior
Got
side.
it. So tell us a day in the life of Retta Jane, of Retta.
Of Retta. Okay. Well, I'm very lucky to have a husband who is very hands-on and also has a challenging career. But he does the mornings for me, which is like my saving grace.
Nice.
So he does the breakfast for the boys. We have two boys. I have two big kids, two little kids.
Aww,
so I've got
love that.
step kids. They're 18 and 20. And then I've got little guys that are almost 6 and 7. So we wake up in full chaos out the door. But my husband does the mornings with lunch and breakfast. I get the boys to school. And then it's like sitting down to emails, kind of decompressing, having a coffee, getting my bearings for the day. And then I switch hats a lot.
Yeah.
And I'd love to say there was some magic potion where it's like on Tuesdays, I do this. It's not.
Right.
I try to keep Mondays and Fridays client free, all internal work, which is helpful.
Yes.
But then it's a lot of like, okay, I've got a Zoom call with my person and with my brand manager in New York, and we're going to be talking about both brands. And then it's okay, now we're going to work on client work here. And it's a lot of ping ponging, but for some reason
it works.
It works.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
How would you describe your leadership?
I'm very transparent. I'm very candid, for better or for worse. I don't know, but I try to have them. I try to all meet at the same level,
right?
And take the hierarchy out of it, especially with a small brand.
Yeah,
I want them to see what's going on behind the scenes because I think it's important for trust for all of these things. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a startup,
right?
You know, I'm employing people, but it still can be tough.
Yeah.
So I like for them to see behind the curtain a little bit. And I mean, again, hopefully that will ensure that they believe in it.
I think you get consensus when you have that. I think it's easier to get consensus if they understand all the things at play. So when you're making decisions and hard decisions, by the way, as a founder, as a CEO, like there's sometimes some pretty hard decisions you have to make. At least it kind of allows your staff or your contract workers to see that this is why we're making that decision.
Yes.
You know, it's not in a vacuum. It really has purpose. You know, I think that's one of the things that founders really struggle with is how much do you tell your staff? How much do you let them see? How much should they know about your line of credit and that you have a line of credit?
Yes.
Do they understand what that means?
Well, and honestly, I used to keep things really tight to the and now maybe to a fault. I'm an open book with my team. And it is very clear. And I will have hard days and I have to kind of sit them down and be like, hey, you know, this is a hard day. That check from that client, it didn't go through. And now I'm pulling from here. I mean, it all goes into a bigger picture.
Right.
But then it's exciting too, because as we kind of approach this new store and the women's wear and all these other little things we happen to have up our sleeve, then everybody gets on board.
Yes.
Everybody can see the vision and get excited and know what pieces have to fall into place.
And they feel more engaged.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And bought in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. And especially, it sounds like you're managing remote workers as well. How does that go for you?
It actually is great. Well, and I'm lucky because this particular person is from St. Louis.
Oh, nice.
So lucky for me, she's in New York full time, but she also, I would like to say, splits her time.
Right.
Yeah.
So she'll come back and she's close with her family. And so we get a little bit of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's great. That's awesome. So, okay. What is next for Retta Jane? Tell us, I mean, you kind of gave us a few clues. We're going to open the store. We're going to continue to build out the brand. What else? What's your big wish for the brand?
So I see us being a national brand.
Yeah.
I see it very clearly.
Yeah.
We've always said Charleston would be our first store. I think our market is perfectly fit for Charleston.
100%.
But we're not. We're going to do it right here in St. Louis. And I'm very, very excited about that. So we have not quite signed the lease, but we're pretty close.
Okay.
So assuming all goes according to plan, we'll open late summer of 2026.
Awesome.
And it's not just going to be a retail store, as I think most people know, just a retail store.
Yeah.
And we're not relying only on our brand. So we really decided that we wanted to create this world of Retta Jane. So we are, and because we have the interiors, it fits. We're going to bring in home products. We're going to bring in adjacent brands to Retta Jane to fill out the store with just a bigger
The
breadth
feel,
and bigger
right.
feel.
Uh-huh.
And then at the same time, we're going to open a cafe inside.
Oh my gosh.
So we're calling it our reading room. So
that's
imagine like a
awesome.
big 15-foot library wall with design books and art books. And you can come in mother-daughter and have treats. You could come in as a woman working in Clayton and bring your laptop and have a glass of wine at the end of the day.
Love that.
You could reserve a table for a private dinner or a game, mahjong. I mean, it's kind of, we want to create a bigger sense of community.
Yeah.
I love that so much. That is really awesome.
It's so fun.
And
Yeah.
it's exciting because
can't
then we
wait.
can do all sorts of activations,
Yeah.
where etiquette classes for the girls. We can do
Right.
Mhm.
book
Right.
signings. I mean, there's a lot of things we could do as a community. And I think that goes back to the breadth of what Retta Jane is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a conversation for these girls about who they can be and what they can be. And by
Right.
bringing the mothers in and bringing these other generations in, it creates that space for the conversation.
I love that.
What do
It's
you
so
do?
smart
What do
and so brilliant.
Yeah.
Like entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you see a void and you're not only taking care of it in one avenue, but you're taking care of it as the whole persona.
Well, creating conversation around all the things is, I
Yeah.
think, what keeps ringing back to me. And I love that because I think we say that all the time. It's like, we're creating conversation. Like everybody's going to activate it the way they want to and hear it the way they want to, but we're going to be the catalyst to that conversation. And that's what you're doing. It's pretty cool.
Well, and I think so many things are, especially with this next generation, it's all
Yes.
online and screens and all the
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So essentially, I'm just taking the screens out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm making a space for, it doesn't have to be the mother, it could be the dad, it could
Yeah.
be, but these parental figures,
Yeah.
whoever they are, grandparents,
Yeah.
Yeah.
neighbors, aunts, to come in with this new generation, no screens involved, go shopping or
Yeah.
just go in and have a treat
Yeah.
or come to a class or a movie night we're going to throw.
Right.
I mean, it's just going to be a third space
Mhm.
for people to come together. And that's hopefully going to be multi-generational.
Love
That's
that.
amazing. I love
So,
that.
I have a
Mhm.
really weird question.
Okay,
It's
ready.
not weird, but like, so I'm super curious about fashion culture. Do we have a fashion culture in St. Louis?
I have to say we do.
Okay.
And
Tell us about this.
there's an incredible breadth of talent
Yeah.
in St.
Okay.
Louis.
Mhm.
And I always say there's strength in numbers.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I feel like, St. Louis Fashion Fund is a name out there. I know
Yeah,
a lot of you
yeah.
know. The Fashion Alliance is another group that gets designers together. But there really are, from menswear to women's wear now and kids, and everybody helps each other. There's a
I love
wonderful
hearing that.
designer.
Love that.
There's a wonderful woman here named Audra,
Mhm.
and she's got a brand in Ladue. She's amazingly talented, but she helped me as I started
Mhm.
and kind of introduced me to
Love that.
fabric vendors in New York and other people. So there is a great depth of talent in this town. And I
Yeah.
think there needs to be more conversations around
Yeah.
Yeah.
it.
I feel like it's like, it kind of like every once in a while it makes its way into my purview and then it kind of retracts. So I never really get a good feel for, is this a fashion town? Is it not? I keep hearing that it is, but I'm curious. I'm just so curious about it.
Well, and then when you really step back and look, you've got Caleres here.
Right.
Right.
You have the normal brand.
Right.
Somersault.
Yes.
There's these just
Mhm.
bigger brands here that
Right.
are really putting down some roots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we hope, honestly, I hope Retta Jane's in that conversation one day. Like, oh, look what Retta Jane did. They started here and
Love
they grew
that.
roots.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I also think we are lucky enough to live in a time where you don't have to be in New York.
Right.
Right.
You could be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you could
Mhm.
build a brand. And
Mhm.
I used to shy away from that. And now I'm really leaning into it heavily. Like, we're building a brand and a more luxury brand. And you can do it here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
You can do it wherever the heck you want to, as long as
Mhm.
you have that vision for
Well,
it.
and how perfect is St. Louis, right in the middle of the country?
Yes.
You know, to be able to easily,
Yeah.
somewhat easily get to the get to other
Yeah.
cities. No, but you're so right. Even from what you said at the beginning, I mean, St. Louis was a fashion town. I mean,
Yes.
made department stores were here.
Right. Right.
I mean, so many different shoe brands.
Right.
I mean, it was.
Hats and it really.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I sometimes think we're our own worst enemies in St. Louis because we'll say,
100%.
"Oh,
Always.
St. Louis is great, but," and there's
Yes.
always a but. Where you go to a town like Nashville and they're like, "Nashville's just awesome."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like we need to change the conversation. And part of that, as a brand owner, is St. Louis is awesome,
Yes.
and this is why.
Yep.
Yes.
And so we're leaning into it, and it is. It's a great town. It's a great town to start a business, and there's a lot of people that want to reach out and support you too.
That's awesome.
All right. So I don't know that we're going to have a lot of time for our rapid fire, but
Yeah.
Do you have like maybe 2 questions?
Yeah.
Go.
I always have the same one first.
Okay.
So coffee or tea?
Coffee. Used to be tea,
Yeah.
but now it's coffee.
Yeah.
Good. Best book you've read lately
Oh,
or listened to?
Into the Magic Shop, which is a neuroscientist who looks at manifestation, but through neuroplasticity. It's fascinating.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Okay, that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
love that.
All right, we need to put that out there. Okay, mine go-to fashion person. Your go-to fashion. Like, who's your favorite brand?
Ralph Lauren probably.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
makes sense.
That's
It tracks.
Yeah, it tracks. That makes sense. It's on brand. Well, tell our listeners where they can find you, how
Yes.
they get in touch with you, all the stuff.
Oh, yes, please do. Please come find us. Our website is rettajane.com. That's RETTAJANE.com. And on Instagram, we're at rettajane.collection. But yes, please come find us and spread the word.
Love it.
And you can always reach out to Angela and I, and we will connect you with Retta.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
This has been such a great conversation. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited. She's actually going to be a guest host at an event next week that we're hosting or that we're
Cannot
producing. So we
wait.
can't wait to see you next week again.
Yep.
For our listeners, you can find us later on today, and we'll talk to you next week. And